What if I told you that in the next 5 years, millions of people will lose their jobs? Not because they were lazy, not because they weren't skilled, but because they simply chose the wrong skills at the wrong time. And what's even more shocking is this. Some people will actually become richer than ever before in the same exact economy. Same world. Same AI revolution. But completely different outcomes. Now here's the question that should make you stop everything for a second. Which side are you going to be on? Let me take you inside a small apartment in a crowded city. A middle-class father named David is sitting at the edge of his bed at 2 a.m., staring at bills he can't pay. Electricity, rent, credit card debt, all stacking up like a mountain he can't climb. Just a few years ago, he thought his job was safe, stable, secure. But then AI tools entered his company. Slowly at first, then suddenly. One department got automated, then another. And one morning, David was called into a meeting that lasted only 7 minutes. "We're restructuring." That's all they said. No warning. No mercy. Just like that, 12 years of experience became irrelevant in a digital world that no longer needed his skill set. But here's where things get interesting, because across the city, there's another man named Jason. Same age as David. Same education level. Same starting point. But Jason made one different decision 3 years ago. Instead of resisting AI, he started learning how to work with it. Not coding. Not engineering. Just understanding how AI tools think, how businesses use them, and how decisions are made in the new digital economy. Today, Jason doesn't compete for jobs anymore. Companies compete for him. His income didn't just grow, it multiplied. And the wild part? He never considered himself smart. He just adapted. Now pause for a second, because most people don't realize this shift is already happening quietly. It's not coming in the future. It's already here. And it's separating people into two invisible groups, those who are being replaced and those who are becoming irreplaceable. But what most people still believe is the biggest mistake of all. They think education alone is enough. A degree, a certificate, a few years of experience. They think that's safety. But in the AI era, safety doesn't come from what you know. It comes from how fast you can adapt to what changes. And if you think this is just about tech workers or IT professionals, you're wrong. This is hitting salespeople, accountants, marketers, customer service workers, even managers. Because AI is not just replacing jobs. It's reshaping entire decision-making systems inside companies. And once you understand that, you'll start seeing why some skills are exploding in value while others are quietly disappearing. But here's the real question nobody is asking yet. What are those skills? And more importantly, can an average person still learn them before it's too late? Because in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you something most people completely misunderstand about income in the AI era, and why the skills that are becoming the most valuable are not the ones you expect at all. Now let's go deeper into something most people don't talk about, the quiet financial collapse happening inside ordinary homes. Not the dramatic crash you see on the news, not some sudden disaster, but a slow, silent pressure building every single month until people can't breathe financially anymore. Imagine Sarah, a single mother working 2 jobs. One in the morning at a small office, another in the evening at a retail store. She wakes up before sunrise, comes home after dark, and still ends the month with less money than she started. She doesn't feel poor in the traditional sense, she feels trapped. And that feeling is worse than poverty itself. Because here's the reality most people refuse to accept. Hard work is no longer enough. For decades we were told the same story. Study hard, work hard, stay loyal, and you'll be safe. But Sarah followed every rule. She did everything right. And still, she is one emergency away from breaking. One medical bill. One rent increase. One job cut. That's all it takes. And if you think this is rare, think again. This is the new normal for millions of people silently struggling behind closed doors while still smiling in public. But what's really happening underneath this pressure is even more dangerous. Companies are no longer rewarding effort. They are rewarding leverage. And leverage now comes from one thing: skills that multiply output without multiplying costs. That's where AI enters the story again, quietly changing the rules of survival. Because while Sarah is working 2 jobs, another group of people are using AI tools to do the work of 10 people in a single afternoon. And they are not working harder. They are simply working differently. Now let me introduce you to someone else. Michael, a retired factory worker. For 30 years, his identity was built around physical labor, strength, routine, discipline. But when automation entered his industry, the machines didn't argue. They didn't complain. They just replaced. And suddenly, retirement didn't feel like freedom. It felt like uncertainty. His pension barely covers rising costs, and he often wonders how the world changed so fast while he was still following the same rules he learned decades ago. Here's where the emotional truth hits hardest. Most people are not losing income because they are incapable. They are losing because they are using outdated mental models in a new economic world. It's like trying to use a paper map in a city that keeps rebuilding itself every night. You can be smart, experienced, even disciplined, but still completely lost if your direction is wrong. And this is exactly why the next shift in income is not about working more hours. It's about understanding which skills create value in a system where machines handle repetition, automation handles speed, and humans are only needed for high-level thinking, decision-making, persuasion, and strategy. But here's the uncomfortable part most people avoid. These skills are not taught in school. And they are not obvious at first glance. So the real question becomes, if traditional effort is losing power, and AI is taking over execution, then what exactly are the skills that still allow ordinary people like Sarah, Michael, and David to rise instead of fall? Because in the next section, I'm going to break down the exact high-income skills that are quietly becoming more valuable in the AI era, and why some of them might completely surprise you. Now here's where everything starts to shift. Because once you understand the problem, you also start seeing the hidden opportunities most people completely miss. The truth is, AI is not just taking jobs away. It's upgrading the value of certain human skills. And the people who recognize this early are quietly stepping into a completely different income category, while everyone else is still worrying about job security. Let's go back to David for a moment. After losing his job, he didn't have a fancy degree in tech. He wasn't a programmer. He was just someone willing to learn something new when everything else failed him. The first skill that changed his life was AI management. Not building AI, not coding AI, but learning how to use AI tools to increase output in business tasks. He started with simple things: writing reports faster, analyzing data with AI tools, creating presentations in minutes instead of hours. At first, it felt small, almost meaningless. But then something powerful happened. His productivity didn't just improve, it multiplied. And that's when companies started noticing him again. Because in the modern economy, the most valuable person is not the one who works the longest. It's the one who produces the most impact in the shortest time. The second skill that quietly became a money magnet is sales strategy. And before you think, I'm not a salesperson, listen carefully. Everything in life is sales. Getting a job is sales. Negotiating a salary is sales. Running a business is sales. Even convincing someone to trust your idea is sales. Jason, the man who adapted early, didn't start with fancy products. He simply learned how to communicate value better. He studied how people make decisions, what triggers trust, and how emotions drive purchases. And in a world where AI can generate thousands of messages, the human who understands persuasion becomes extremely valuable. Then comes the third skill, financial decision-making. This is where Sarah's story starts to change direction. She began learning how money actually flows. Not just saving, but understanding debt, interest, investment behavior, and opportunity cost. And something clicked. She realized she wasn't just earning low income, she was making decisions that kept her stuck in low income. Once she started adjusting those decisions, even small changes created breathing room she hadn't felt in years. But here's the pattern most people miss. All these skills have one thing in common. They are not fully automatable. AI can generate content, but it can't understand human emotion like a skilled communicator. AI can process data, but it cannot make value-based business decisions in real-time complex environments. AI can assist in sales, but it cannot replace trust, persuasion, or timing. That's the hidden gap in the system. And inside that gap is where high-income opportunities are forming right now. Now imagine this clearly: two people start in the same position. One keeps relying on old skills, basic execution, repetitive work, routine thinking. The other slowly builds AI fluency, learns persuasion, and understands financial systems. After just a few years, the difference is no longer small. It becomes massive. Not because one worked harder, but because one moved into skills that scale with the modern economy. But here's the twist most people don't expect. Even these high-income skills are not the final stage. Because what's coming next is even more powerful than just using AI or learning sales. It's about combining these skills into something far more valuable, something that turns an ordinary person into someone who can operate at a completely different level of income potential. And in the final part, I'll show you exactly what that combination looks like, and why the people who understand it early will dominate the next decade. Here's the part most people never see coming. The real power in the AI era is not in learning one skill. It's in stacking the right skills together like a system. Because individually, AI management, sales strategy, and financial decision-making are powerful. But when you combine them, something dangerous, in a good way, starts to happen. You stop being just a worker. You start becoming a value creator inside any system you enter. Let me show you what that looks like in real life. Jason didn't become high income just because he learned AI tools. He didn't become successful just because he understood sales. And he didn't suddenly become wealthy because he tracked money better. It was the combination. He used AI tools to increase productivity, sales skills to increase income, and financial thinking to multiply what he kept. 3 skills, 1 system. And that system changed his entire economic reality. Now think about Sarah again. At first, she believed she just needed a better job. Then she believed she needed more hours. But the real shift came when she started stacking skills instead of chasing jobs. She learned basic AI tools to reduce workload, studied simple communication techniques to improve her job performance, and slowly started understanding how small financial decisions affect long-term freedom. And here's the surprising part: she didn't need to become an expert. She just needed to become slightly better in multiple areas. Because in today's world, slightly better compounds into financially ahead faster than ever before. But wait, here's the twist most people still ignore. The biggest risk today is not that AI is replacing humans. The real risk is that people are waiting too long to adapt. They are watching change instead of participating in it. And every month of delay increases the gap between those who evolve and those who stay the same. Because this is not a future problem anymore. This is a present reality quietly reshaping incomes right now while most people are distracted by routine life. So what should you actually do with this information? First, stop thinking in terms of job versus job. Start thinking in terms of skill stack versus skill stack. Pick one AI tool and learn how to use it in your daily work. Then improve your communication, how you write, how you speak, how you explain value. Then slowly build financial awareness, even at a basic level. You don't need perfection. You need direction, because direction compounds. And here's the final truth that changes everything: The people who win in the AI era are not the smartest, not the most educated, and not even the most experienced. They are the most adaptable, the ones who learn, adjust, and evolve faster than the environment around them. That's the real high-income skill no one talks about. So if you're watching this and thinking it's too late, it's not. But the window is not open forever either. Every skill you build now is a future advantage you are locking in. And every day you delay is a day someone else is stacking skills while you stay in the same place. If this video changed the way you think about income in the AI era, then don't just move on like nothing happened. Subscribe to the channel because we break down real-world financial shifts like this in a way that actually helps you grow. And comment below what skill you think you should start learning first: AI, sales, or finance. I read every comment, and I want to know where your journey begins.